Yeah, tell me, what is the question? Hello, can you hear me? Abhiram?
Yes,
Abhiram?
sir.
Yeah, tell me, if you're silent, you wanted to ask me something.
Yes.
Yeah, what is the question? Okay. What is the question, please? Hello, Abhiram, I can't hear anything from your side. कुछ पूछना है क्या, अभिराम कुमार? अभिराम कुमार?
यस सर, एक्चुअली हम
क्या?
देख रहे थे सर कि और ये होगा कि नहीं, क्योंकि मेरा पहला सेशन है यहाँ पे। और
क्या क्या क्या?
वो हम कुछ
हेलो?
और देख रहे थे कि कुछ और अगर ज्वाइन करेंगे तो, ये मेरा
नहीं,
पहला
मैं
सेशन है।
नहीं समझा, नहीं क्या बोल रहा है?
वो एक्चुअली देख रहे थे सर कि और कोई ज्वाइन करेगा कि नहीं, क्योंकि ये मेरा पहला सेशन है और मतलब और ज्यादा कोर्स
नहीं,
करेंगे क्लास।
तुम्हारा नहीं नहीं, तुम्हारा तरफ से कोई क्वेश्चन है कि नहीं? तुम्हें कुछ पूछना है
अभी तक नो नो सर।
और बोलना है, कुछ बोलना है, मतलब पूछना है या कुछ बोलना है?
एक्चुअली सर थोड़ा सा ये कोर्स मेरे लिए पूरा नया है, और इस कोर्स को देख के तो
क्या 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 बोला? क्या नया है? कोर्स नया है? हाँ?
ये मतलब ये सेमेस्टर से मैच नहीं कर रहा था, तो हम देख रहे हैं ये कोर्स को, बट समझने की कोशिश भी कर रहे हैं ये कोर्स को।
नहीं, आप लोग वो उसका परीक्षा के लिए रजिस्टर किया कि नहीं?
नहीं अभी तो
नहीं किया?
क्योंकि ये कोर्स मेरे लिए काफी हार्ड हो रहा है फिलहाल।
वही तो, मतलब ये कोर्स मैं पहले ही बताया आप लोगों को कि ये काफी एडवांस्ड कोर्स है। तो आपका मतलब आपको यदि रिसर्च इस फील्ड में करना है तो फायदा होगा आपको, यदि नहीं करना है तो बिल्कुल फायदा नहीं होगा इसको इसको लेके। आपको थियोरेटिकल फिजिक्स में पीएचडी करना है तो फायदा होगा, नहीं तो नहीं होगा।
एक, हाँ एक्चुअली सर हम प्योर थ्योरेटिकल ही अच्छा है, लाइक क्या कहते हैं
है?
और स्ट्रिंग थ्योरी। अच्छा एक्चुअली सर हम जानना चाह रहे थे क्योंकि हम स्ट्रिंग थ्योरी के और ज्यादा इंक्लाइन है, और
जो भी
एचसीपी की
थियोरेटिकल फिजिक्स का जो भी टॉपिक है, ये
क्वांटिटेटिव थ्योरी
नहीं पता है
वगैरह।
तो
यस।
सिर्फ फर्क है, मतलब बाकी कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा, और वो बाकी इससे भी ज्यादा एडवांस रहेगा। जो स्ट्रिंग थियरी बता रहे हो ना, वो
यस
इसका 10 गुना ज्यादा कठिन है। तो ये बेसिक होता है उस स्ट्रिंग थियरी के लिए, एकदम ये जैसा जैसा प्राइमरी स्कूल का नॉलेज है ना, ऐसा मतलब यदि तुम्हें
हाँ
सचमुच स्ट्रिंग थियरी सीखना है तो ये जो मैं पढ़ा रहा हूँ वो प्राइमरी स्कूल का टीचिंग का बराबर है। स्ट्रिंग थियरी तो बहुत दूर का बात है। ये मतलब ये नहीं जान सकोगे तो वो कभी नहीं समझ पाओगे स्ट्रिंग थियरी। ये तो इतना बेसिक है।
यस
यही तुम्हें कठिन लग रहा है
यस।
तो तुम्हें 10 बार सोचना पड़ेगा तुम्हें सचमुच थियोरेटिकल फिजिक्स करना है कि नहीं, वो भी स्ट्रिंग थियरी में। स्ट्रिंग थियरी काफी
सर
एडवांस्ड हो चुका है। हेलो?
रिसेंट जो आईसीटीएस का जो रिजल्ट वगैरह सब क्वांटम स्पेस
हाँ, वो ऊपर से
भी काफी
वो
इन्वॉल्व
जो
है।
ऐसा मैगजीन और न्यूज़पेपर में जो छपता है वो आसान लगता है पढ़ने के लिए, बट असली में रिसर्च ऐसा नहीं होता है। असली में रिसर्च है जो एक्चुअली वो इक्वेशन सॉल्व करना पड़ता है उसमें, मतलब वो कुछ बेसिक फंडामेंटल का वो जो अनसॉल्व्ड क्वेश्चंस है उसके बारे में सोचना पड़ता है। तो उसके लिए मैथमेटिकल नॉलेज काफ़ी एडवांस्ड होता है वहाँ पे, और जो मैं सिखा रहा हूँ वो कुछ भी नहीं है उसका हिसाब से। तो यदि आपको सचमुच थियोरेटिकल फिजिक्स जो भी है, स्ट्रिंग थियरी या मेरा टाइप का जो थियोरेटिकल फिजिक्स है, कंडेंस्ड मैटर, जो भी करना है,
यस
मतलब मैं जो पढ़ा रहा हूँ वो बहुत ज़रूरी है। यदि तुम्हें यही बहुत मुश्किल लग रहा है तो तुम्हें सोचना पड़ेगा, तुम्हें सचमुच तुम्हें करना है कि नहीं करना है थियोरेटिकल फिजिक्स में पीएचडी, क्योंकि आई
एक्चुअली सर
मीन
हाँ हाँ समझ रहे सर।
नहीं,
एक्चुअली
क्योंकि अभी
हम मेरे लिए
हाँ
नया
बोलो।
हाँ, मेरे लिए मतलब नया है बट इस चीज को समझ और
यू आर
एक
ब्रेकिंग अप, आई कांट हियर मच।
हाँ हेलो सर। ओके
या
ओके
आई
सर नाउ
कांट,
इट्स क्लियर सर।
या स्लाइटली बेटर।
तो हाँ यस यस सर। तो ये इसका सिलेबस देख के हम जब कोर्स एक्सेस किए ही थे तो उसको आगे समझने के लिए बट काफी कुछ मतलब नहीं करवाया पिछला तो ज्यादा
अभी
क्वेश्चन
अभी जो
समझ रहे हैं।
मैं जो पढ़ा रहा हूँ, मेरा टेक्स्ट बुक्स का हिसाब से पढ़ा रहा हूँ, उसका टॉपिक्स एकदम ऐसे ही है, मतलब सेम टेक्स्ट बुक का चैप्टर वाइज जा रहा हूँ। तो वो टेक्स्ट बुक आपका सामने है क्या आपके पास? आप देख रहे हो क्या टेक्स्ट बुक को? हेलो।
हाँ यस सर। मेरे पास वो
हाँ, तो
टेक्स्ट
टेक्स्ट बुक समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है?
टेक्स्ट बुक नहीं है सर मेरे पास बट हम नोट्स बना रहे हैं तो देख के।
बट समझ में आ रहा है वो जो टेक्स्ट बुक इंडियन एडिशन निकल चुका है, तो आप गूगल करो आ जाएगा।
सर सर
हाँ बोलो, क्या है? हेलो।
हाँ हेलो हेलो
हेलो।
एक्चुअली ये सर हाँ ये जो मैथमेटिकल पार्ट वगैरह सब है ना फंक्शनल इंटीग्रेशन उसको कैसे अप्लाई करेंगे पाथ इंटीग्रेशन जैसे क्वांटम फील्ड में भी पाथ इंटीग्रेशन ये सब यूज होता है।
हाँ बातें निकल गई, हाँ। वो समझ में आया कि नहीं आया?
नहीं सर।
कुछ समझ में नहीं आया, थोड़ा समझ में आया।
एक्चुअली इसका जो न्यू फॉर्मुलेशन ही है ना
हाँ,
इस तरह
सभी
को
तो
मैं
नहीं, इसीलिए
कर,
तो कोर्स, कोर्स का मतलब क्या है? वो यदि पुराना है तो क्यों पढ़ाना है उसको? यदि तुम्हें पहले से ही पता है तो उसको पढ़ा के क्या फायदा है? नया है बोल के ही तो पढ़ा रहा हूँ। उसमें तुम्हें वो सब चीज पता नहीं है बोल के ही तो पढ़ा रहा हूँ। यदि पहले से ही पता है तो क्या फायदा है वो पढ़ा के? सब कुछ नया ही तो होगा, बोलने का जरूरत नहीं है, सब कुछ नया है। वो मुझे भी मैं भी जानता हूँ, तुम भी जानते हो, सब नया है, इसीलिए तो पढ़ा रहा हूँ। बट वो मुश्किल होगा, क्योंकि जो भी नया सीखने का कोशिश करोगे वो पहले बहुत ही मुश्किल लगेगा, बाद में आसान हो जाएगा। बट वो उसका मेहनत करना पड़ता है उसका, कि तुम्हें सचमुच थियोरेटिकल फिजिक्स करना है। मतलब क्या समझ में नहीं आया तुम ईमेल में भेजो, कि मतलब तुम ऐसा नहीं बोल सकते हो मुझे कुछ समझ में नहीं आया, दैट मीन्स यू आर नॉट लाइक पुटिंग इन एफर्ट। मतलब थोड़ा बहुत कोशिश करना है, बाद में बोलना है इस इक्वेशन से ये लेके इस इक्वेशन कैसा आया मुझे वो समझ में नहीं आया, ऐसा बोलने से मैं आंसर करता हूँ, कर सकता हूँ। तुम ऐसे ऊपर से कुछ समझ में नहीं है ऐसा बोलने से मैं कुछ नहीं बोल सकता हूँ उसके ऐसा इसका मतलब तुम कोशिश नहीं कर रहे हो। अगर तुम बोलोगे इक्वेशन 33 जो भी है, इक्वेशन 33 से लेके 35 तक कैसा पहुंचा, सब बीच में काफी सब स्टेप्स मिसिंग है, ऐसा बोल सकते हो। यदि ऐसा है तो ऐसा बोलने से मैं समझा सकता हूँ। वो ईमेल में ऐसा क्वेश्चन भेजो तब मैं आंसर कर सकता हूँ। कुछ समझ में नहीं आया बोलने से क्या बोल सकता हूँ। अब दैट मीन्स तुम कोशिश नहीं कर रहे हो।
यस।
तो थोड़ा बहुत मेहनत करना पड़ता है ना। ये तो तुम भी जानते हो, मैं भी जानता हूँ, ये डिफिकल्ट सब्जेक्ट है। तो डिफिकल्ट सब्जेक्ट यदि तुम्हें सचमुच सीखना है तो मेहनत करना पड़ता है।
यस सर।
तो एनी अबाउट डू यू हैव एनी स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चन, मतलब कोई भी स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चन है मुझे ये नहीं समझ, बाकी सब समझ में है बट ये नहीं समझ, ऐसा कुछ क्वेश्चन है तुम्हारा पास? ऐसा इस चैप्टर में बहुत कुछ मुझे समझ में आया बट ये दो टॉपिक मुझे समझ में नहीं आया, या नहीं तो ऐसा मतलब ये सेंटेंस का मीनिंग क्या है, ऐसा क्वेश्चन पूछने से मैं आंसर कर सकता हूँ। कुछ समझ में नहीं आया बोलने से मुझे दुख लगेगा, इसका मतलब मैं कुछ नहीं सिखा रहा हूँ।
नहीं एक्चुअली सर ये टोटली क्योंकि न्यू है ना सर, तो वो हम लोग को अंडरस्टैंड करने में थोड़ा सा टाइम लगेगा, वही कर रहे हैं एक्चुअली सर।
हाँ, वो थोड़ा मेहनत करने के बाद स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चन पूछो, मतलब बोलो कि इस इक्वेशन से लेके इस इक्वेशन कैसा गया, मतलब कैसा स्टेप जो है वो एक ही स्टेप बीच में दिया हुआ है और तीन चार मिसिंग है, कभी लगा के दो, ऐसा बोलना। मैं उसको मतलब सब कुछ किताब में बहुत कुछ लिखने से वो जो पब्लिशर वो गुस्सा हो जाएगा, इतना लंबा बनाया बेकार में ऐसा। वो इसका किताब का रेफरी लोग भी रहते हैं ना, वो लोग भी देखता है। वो वो लोग सोचेगा क्या बेकार का किताब लिखा है उसमें, हजारों स्टेप दिखाया, कुछ काम का नहीं है, सब दिखा के ऐसा सब, वो सब भी कमेंट आता है बाद में। क्योंकि वो एक बार समझने के बाद वो स्टेप का कुछ काम नहीं रहता है। जब तक नहीं समझ सकोगे वो उस टाइम लगता है कि वो बहुत जरूरी है, एक
यस।
बार समझने के बाद ऐसा लगता है कि ये क्यों इसको डाला है, ये सबको पता है, ऐसा लगता है। इसलिए ऑथर को बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है कि कौन सा डालना है कौन सा नहीं डालना है, ठीक है। तो आप लोग एज ए रीडर, मतलब आप लोगों को बोलना है कि ये स्टेप मुझे लगता है मुझे मिसिंग है, मुझे समझ में नहीं आया, बाकी लोगों को पता नहीं, मुझे नहीं आ रहा है समझ में, तो मुझे समझाओ, ऐसा बोलना है, तब मैं समझा सकता
यस।
हूँ। So some effort is required. Without effort, you cannot understand difficult subject.
और सर क्या ये स्टैटिकल मैकेनिक्स के लिए सर, इन टर्म्स ऑफ स्टैटिकल मैकेनिक्स सर, ये कुछ हेल्पफुल है सर?
Yeah. Can you
ये
repeat the question?
स्टैटिकल मैकेनिक्स perspective से सर।
Statistical mechanics.
यस सर।
क्या क्या What is the question? मैं उसके बारे में क्या है? Statistical mechanics क्या है? क्वेश्चन क्या है?
wait now. एक्चुअली सर हम बुक मेरे पास आ चुका है सर। अब सही है।
Yeah, so what is the question? What is the question? You are saying something about statistical mechanics. USB.
हाँ
Tell me.
सर फंक्शनल इंटीग्रेशन से सर।
Some your original question was statistical mechanics, but
आप
in any case, this course uses some minimum amount of statistical mechanics. But this course is not statistical mechanics. But if you want to learn statistical mechanics, I strongly recommend the course that I strongly recommend the course I have taught earlier, NPTEL MOOCs. Same thing. Last year I taught. That is called Statistical Introduction to Statistical Mechanics. It's there also on YouTube. So that is the complete course on statistical mechanics. So if
Yes.
you want to learn statistical mechanics, I would strongly recommend that course also. Unfortunately, it did not run this year. I have requested our institute to run it again. They might run it next semester, perhaps. So just keep a lookout for that. If you are, if you feel that you will learn again, or if you feel that you will benefit from that, you can anyway listen to the lectures. There is no, it's already there, so you can listen to the lectures. It's already on YouTube. Yeah. So what is the other question? Functional
old
integration.
historical mechanics yes, functional integration.
Yeah. What is the question of
uh,
functional
how
integration?
actually sir,
Yeah. What is the question?
yeah, uh, for sir.
I can't hear you. Breaking up. Please repeat the question.
This is question from your book, sir. Equation
Yes.
6.4. The
Okay.
term is b minus a by n.
Sorry. Yeah. Say that again. और एक बार.
एक्चुअली ये इक्वेशन जो है ना सर, 6.4 इक्वेशन है फंक्शनल इंटीग्रेशन, अबाउट फंक्शनल इंटीग्रेशन, एंड द टर्म
उसमें
इज
क्या?
कमिंग माइनस.
हाँ. मेरा सामने किताब नहीं है इसलिए. क्या लिखा है वहाँ पे?
लिखा हुआ है सर कि एक इंटीग्रेशन है और
हाँ.
समेशन, उस इंटीग्रेशन को इक्वेट किया गया समेशन से, इन द सेंस कि दिस इज लुक्स लाइक ए डिस्क्रीट टर्म, डिस्क्रीट पेरियड
सही है.
टू द पावर j टू द पावर n minus 1.
सही है.
हाँ, actually know that the summation is an integration to the large number of collection of small particles.
Yes. Yeah. So what is the question? That is a statement. Do you have a question?
Yes, yes.
What is the question?
Yes. So the term is coming b minus a by n factor. And what is this physically? What is the sense about physical about it?
No, it is coming as what?
B minus a by n.
B minus A by N. Yeah, that is because B is the right, A is the starting point, B is the ending point, and you are dividing it into N pieces. So your delta X is the total distance divided by the number of pieces. That is the size of the smallest piece. तो उसको ये जो डिस्टेंस है ना A to B का डिस्टेंस, वो तुम N पीसेस से N बराबर पीस करके तोड़ देते हो, तो एक पीस का साइज क्या होगा? B माइनस A बाई N ही तो होगा ना. Is that the question you wanted to answer? Means you want, does that answer your question? Is that what you wanted to know, or that's not what you wanted to know?
वो में पता चल
Yeah.
ये जो एक एक पीस का इंटीग्रेशन करके पहले
Huh?
इंटीग्रेशन क्या हेलो
Tell me.
तो actually sir, what is the thermal means
What is the what? Huh? What is the
thermal fluctuations?
thermal
Thermal
fluctuations?
fluctuations.
Thermal fluctuation means that basically, if you have a system which is exchanging energy with surroundings, and you give enough time for the system to come to an equilibrium, right? So the system's temperature will become the same as the surroundings temperature, but the energy of the system will not be fixed because it is constantly exchanging energy with surroundings. So there will be some fluctuation. That means if you measure the total energy of the, see, if the system is exchanging energy with surroundings, right? So that is the normal situation in our present. I mean, whenever you do an experiment, so it's impossible to keep the system isolated. It will always be somehow connected to the environment, which is already at some temperature. So the system will be exchanging energy with surroundings. So if you measure the energy of the system at any given time, if you measure it at some other time, it may not be the same energy. So that is called thermal fluctuation, because it is thermal because it's induced by the fact that there is a temperature which is constant between surroundings and temperature. So the fluctuations are induced by the fact that there is a temperature. So the temperature induces fluctuations in the energy. That's what, at least that's what I mean by thermal fluctuation. That's what most people mean by thermal fluctuation. So it's
Yes,
basically
actually,
the energy doesn't remain fixed. It keeps changing. And that change is
yes,
because of temperature.
yes, sir,
Temperature is
yes, sir.
fixed, but energy is not fixed. That's what happens in canonical ensemble. Temperature is fixed, but energy is not fixed. So energy fluctuates, but temperature is fixed. Okay, so what is the other question? Yeah, so any other question?
No, sir.
Yes, so I mean, I don't blame you because see, the problem is that many of these courses can be quite advanced, and I feel that NPTEL MOOCs will have little value if it is simply duplicating what you're learning in your college. Because after all, you know, if you already are learning the same thing in your college, why should somebody teach it online? Same thing, it's useless. So whenever I teach a MOOCs course, I teach it in such a way that it doesn't have a duplication with what is already there. And also, it is extremely important to See, there's a huge gap between the coursework and the textbooks and all that, and the research literature. That means the research level is very, very, very high compared to what you're learning in your MSc and PSc and all that. So there is a very big gap, and it's very hard. The very few courses that make an effort to bridge that gap. So my course, this particular course, is just an modest attempt to bridge some gap like that. Because you see, without these types of courses, a student has a very big struggle to do theoretical physics. See, that's why many students take so many years to do PhD in theoretical physics, because there is too much gap between coursework and research literature. So the things can speed up if teachers like us take interest and create courses that students can then learn from, so that they don't have to struggle so much. See, that is the whole purpose of these types of courses. So they are not meant to simply duplicate what is there in your MSc program, or whatever. It's meant to be very different from what is there in your MSc program. At least that is how I perceive MOOCs and PTEL. I don't want it to be merely a duplication of some very standard things that you'll find anywhere. So if you are finding this course difficult, that's probably a good sign. Because that means I'm achieving my goals to some extent. But it is up to you to make sure that you surmount those difficulties, make sure that you overcome those difficulties by periodically asking questions. First put in the effort that is needed, and then you ask pertinent specific questions. Don't ask vague questions like, I did not understand this topic. The topic is pretty much the whole thing that I would have discussed for that entire chapter. So that's very insulting if you say, I don't understand this subject. The whole purpose of this course is for you to,
Sir,
yeah. So you should ask specific.
we are not insulting.
Yeah. Do you want to say something?
Actually, sir, our intention is not for insulting this course, sir.
No,
So,
I'm just. I mean, I was speaking facetiously. I mean, I'm not accusing you or anything. I'm just pointing out that it's kind of. It's better if you put in the effort than ask specific questions. I mean, let's put it positively. So the positive way of putting it is ask specific questions. Then it'll benefit both of us, right? So just ask some specific
yes, sir, yes,
questions,
sir.
and don't ask verbally, because these are very detailed quantitative uh, technical subjects. So you can't translate that into normal English or Hindi. It's better to ask by typing out the technical question in mathematical language or semi-mathematical language. So send me an email with a question asked in proper technical format. So not everything that's there in fact, very few things that are there in that course can be translated into English or Hindi. Most of it is mathematics, which is its own language. So you should ask questions in the language of physics, which is mathematics. Just ask questions in a mathematical language. So, so the technical questions subjects require technical questions and technical answers. Cannot be some colloquial answers. See, that is a mistake many students make. They kind of when they are beginning their education, they read all these magazines and these popular magazines that are written in normal English, Hindi type of thing, and students come away with the impression that that is what physics is. It's just about verbally describing nature using some analogies and some stories. That is definitely not physics. And unfortunately, you see, the people who come up with those types of popular lectures and series and all those, if you see on YouTube, there are so many people who claim to be physicists, who give very popular with a lot of animation, this that. So they give you an impression that physics is just about telling stories, but it's not. There's a lot of detailed technical analysis that goes behind the scenes. So they are just presenting the final, distilled conclusions that we believe to be true. But those conclusions are arrived at after a very detailed technical analysis, which is completely missing from the popular lectures. And they don't even bother to point out that it is missing. See, that is the biggest mistake or sin they do. That's a big crime according to me. They should say that, look, they should spend the 10-15 minutes explaining that this was not just a statement plucked out of thin air. I mean, this is supported by these analysis, and in order for you to understand these, you have to read these papers. They have to actually say that. It's only when they say that they're doing justice to the audience. This is basically the general public. So, so yeah, so that's something nobody does. I mean, all these people who give popular lectures, they just want audiences and clicks, and they just want YouTube hits. So, yeah. So you should kind of realize that you should, outgrow those types of very juvenile way of thinking about physics. You know, Physics is very technical.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Someone raised the hand, sir. In the
Yeah. Somebody, Advait, is trying to ask a question for a long time.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
I wanted to ask the question from assignment 3, the first question.
Yeah, tell me.
So we are hello, hello.
Tell me. Tell me.
Sir. So how do we approach that question? Because I had difficulty to approach that question. So can
Okay,
you?
so sorry, I don't have access to any of that material because I'm sitting somewhere else. So you'll
Okay,
have to tell me what that question 3 is.
okay. Just give me seconds.
Good afternoon, sir. So in the meantime, may I have a like
Yeah, in the
share
meantime.
with you?
Yeah, in the
Sorry, sir.
meantime.
Am I audible? Yeah.
Yeah, you're audible.
Like
Tell me.
until yeah. So, sir, like I'm using the book and I'm finding it very helpful. My question is like in certain problems I stuck. So, are there solution manuals or answers to there on some websites, or where should I can get the answers if I wish to? Because I don't know
That's
if
an
I have
excellent
correct
question.
answers.
Yes. Right,
Yeah.
that's an
Yeah.
excellent question. And in fact, I recall that when I published this book, the publisher insisted that there should be a solution manual.
Yes, sir.
And I have created a solution manual, but unfortunately, I have lots of hard drives. It's there in one of them, and I haven't tried. I mean, I don't know what to search it in how to search it right now because it's been a while, like it's been almost 7 years. But however, I did a Google search and I found that somebody has actually published, I think it's my own, very likely it's my own solutions, which have been published in a book format. And if you want, I can send you that link or send everybody that link because I
Sure,
made
sir.
a mistake of
Sure, sir.
not noting down that link immediately because if you do a Google search of my book and perhaps you write the word solution along with the search entries and you might actually stumble upon it yourself. Um, I believe I did spot a solution manual through a Google search. The other option is for us to simply, for me to simply write to the publisher asking them to send me the. But I'm extremely disappointed with some of the. I mean, I shouldn't be saying this in public, but point is that this particular publisher is very cooperative. But nevertheless, I'm going to ask them. Uh,
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
yeah,
Because
so
even if we don't have the like, yeah.
you could Google search it yourself.
Yes, so I tried to do it, but there is no like official kind of thing where I can get the solution manual. I'll do it again, although, but I mean, at least
Yeah,
if
the
I have the answers, I
official,
can be confirm. Yeah, I can
yeah,
confirm
right.
that
So
my answers are
official
correct. Yeah.
manual should have been there because it's my own solutions, and I remember that I sent them the entire set of solutions. So I'll have to. Best option is for me to spend more time locating that solution manual in my various hard drives, and I'm sure I'll find it if I try hard enough. It's just that now when I assign questions, I'm resolving all those questions again, which is not necessarily a good idea. Yeah, it's there somewhere. Yeah, so I'll try to bring it up and maybe send it to you. But
Thank you very much,
uh,
sir. I
but
will
the
be
whole,
glad.
as you see, yeah, yeah. So see, it actually cuts both ways. Means it's both a plus and a minus. Because on the one hand, if you have solution manual, you can cross-check with the so-called official solution. I mean, there's no
Yes, sir.
guarantee that whatever I have done is necessarily fully correct or it's the only way of doing it or whatever. But still, you have something to compare with. But the
Yes,
downside
yes,
is that then I mean, I'm sure it's not the case with you, but there will be many students who will be tempted to simply look at the solutions instead of
yeah,
trying
yeah.
it out.
Yes, sir.
So there is
But
a
like, sir, if
temptation, there is a solution.
yeah,
Yeah, that's the thing.
even even if we have just the answers for the questions we have, like say the last
Or
Yeah,
expression of that thing, so it will be
right
great.
now,
Like
all
I
I
can.
can say is that yeah, so what I can say is that you see, you would have attempted a certain set of questions, isn't it? And you
Yes,
would
sir.
have got your own answers, and
Yes.
you want to know if those answers are correct. So why don't you, send me one email with all those questions and your attempts. Take a
Sure, sir.
screenshot or whatever it is, and just email me. Then I will have a look and I will present my own solutions. So that
Sure, sir.
way we will benefit, because sending the solution manual in some ways, even if I'm successful in locating it in one of my hard drives, I feel it somehow defeats the purpose of having exercises at the back of the chapters. The whole purpose of
Yes,
that is for you to try it on your own, because first of
yes,
all,
sir.
you see, many of the questions are somewhat open-ended, in the sense
Yes,
that
yes,
there is,
yes,
the questions are somewhat vague, and are purposely
yes,
vague, because I want students to think about them, uh, rather than, you see, if you pose a question very precisely, it's almost as good as fully solved or half solved or 80% solved. Because you see, in physics, in especially at the research level, no
yes,
question comes posed very precisely. So you
yes, sir.
should learn the art of posing questions, rephrasing questions, so that they make sense. So if somebody has posed a question with insufficient information, you
Yes,
should be mature enough to recognize that the information provided is insufficient, and you should be able to rephrase the question in such a way that the question now makes technical sense. That means that it has sufficient background information so that it admits a unique answer, or it's possible to answer the question. So,
I see.
so that is a skill also that has to be developed. So, which is why some of the questions at the end of the chapters are purposely vague. I didn't want to make it very precise. I want you to, think along those lines and rephrase the question so that it has an interesting answer. So that's the whole point. It's like, you can create your own stories. I recall when I was some years ago, there was a contest. Times of India had a contest where some famous authors, like Chetan Bhagat, or some of those famous authors in Indian authors in English, they used to. I think the Times of India contest was that they'll start with a phrase, so that phrase will appear somewhere in a future novel. So you are supposed to write a novel, a story, including that phrase or a
Yes,
sentence or a paragraph. So you have to create a story around that paragraph. So that was a very interesting. I participated. Of course, I didn't win anything, but it was fun participating in that. So the point is that many of these questions at the end of my book's chapters are somewhat like that. They are just phrases. You have to create your own stories around them. So
I see.
yeah,
Hello.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
yeah. Tell me. Yeah, somebody else
Hello,
has a
sir.
question. Wait,
Advait here.
yes.
I actually, sir, mailed you after this assignment that I had difficulty, and could you provide the solution? Uh,
When did
After assignment 3, sir.
and nobody replied?
No, sir.
Really? That's
Yes.
surprising, because uh,
What
so
is
you mailed
so?
through. I mean, did you mail through that portal or something? How did you mail?
No, I
You
mail normally using Gmail, not to the portal.
directly
Directly, yes.
to the portal, yeah.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, you can send me the same mail directly to my official. Just go to my institute, IIT Guwahati website. You'll see my email. Just
Uh,
email that to me directly.
okay, okay, sir.
Yeah.
Uh, So,
No, but your TA is also supposed to answer those questions. I'll ask him to see it and see if he can answer.
okay, okay, sir. Okay, because I cannot share the screen on this. I don't know. To say any download Teams.
That may be hard because of network issues. So can you just verbally describe your question? Is there a specific question that you want to ask?
Okay, so the question you gave in the assignment 3, first question, uh, was to find the vector potential outside the sphere, elsewhere outside the sphere. And
I think I sent you the solution, right?
no, sir, I didn't got that.
No, I sent the solution. That is completely given in the detailed solution was sent. Have others not seen it? That generalize the concept of equipotential surface to magnetostatics. Yeah, that solution was fully done and sent. It was typed and sent to everyone. It was not, I don't know how it was. My TA uploaded it on the portal where the solutions are supposed to be uploaded.
Okay, okay,
So
so
if you're unable to see that, why don't you just email me to my institute email? Just ask me the same question, and I will send you that solution by attachment.
okay, okay, sir.
Okay.
I will.
Yeah, that particular tutorial was fully solved and uploaded. Also, the solution was uploaded by my TA, and it was uploaded to wherever we are supposed to upload. Because sitting here, I cannot, understand how you guys are going to access that, because I have instructor access, whereas you have student access. So you'll have to figure out. You have to ask the appropriate contact
Right.
person in NPTEL. You ask them how to access the solutions, or you try
Okay,
and have some patience. Just look through the various pages. Sometimes, if the pages are not properly designed, it can be very hard to locate anything. You have to keep
okay,
clicking, going inside some link, inside the link of another link, like that. You might have to spend some effort. Then you might get it. But if you feel that you're wasting your time doing that, if you just send me an email, I will send you by attachment.
okay. I will first try, sir, to find it by myself. If I don't find it, I will mail.
Yeah, spend some minimum effort. If you are not able to, send me an email.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can you suggest any other book that covers a little more on classical part of the field theory?
Landau
Just
and Lifshitz.
okay.
Landau and Lifshitz, classical fields. That has general relativity also.
All right. The both parts, right? I think two
Yeah.
parts.
Pretty much Landau and Lifshitz, everything. Like
Okay.
anything that Landau and Lifshitz has written, if you read all of it, pretty much you're all set for career in theoretical physics. Well, perhaps that's a slight exaggeration, but yeah, you're pretty much, you're well equipped to read many things which are more advanced.
All right, sir. Thank you.
So any other question?
So there's a small question which is not with the related with the course, but just I'm like interested in knowing your perspective. So, sir, I recently started my PhD. So in theoretical condensed matter physics. So like being a PhD student, what one should do initially, like because it's a lot of like different sort of domain or regime altogether. Because in masters we have to do the courses and we have to have the courses, but here we have just research papers, learn as much as we can, and then sometimes there are the productivity issues. Uh, there are issues like we stuck in something, we don't get the idea, and then I don't know. So
Yeah, I wish I could be more specific with answers to questions which are of that nature. But what happens is usually you see everybody's struggle is a very personal one. So your specific struggle will be slightly different from somebody else's struggle. Will have, I mean, all struggles will have some common elements, but there will be aspects which are somewhat personal. Means you may find certain things difficult which others may not find difficult. So some students find, you know, say if you, for example, PhD student supervisor relationship. If the student is, if the student you see is somewhat independent in nature, the student does not appreciate a supervisor is who is kind of very demanding in terms of what that student has to work on. So, so then that will not be a good fit. So you see, when you're doing a PhD, you have to be very careful in selecting a supervisor. It's not just the field in which that person works. Your personality should also match, which is actually much more difficult to assess rather than somebody's feet. So if you are the sort of person who is somewhat independent, then you can feel stifled by a supervisor who has a very rigid agenda and wants to only do that. But conversely, if you're the sort of student who wants to be spoon fed, which is not a good idea anyway, but there are, in fact, that is far more common. There are many students who want to, be told algorithmically what to do. I have many of my students, unfortunately, have been like that, who expect their guide to say, do this, now do this, now do that. See, if I knew all those steps, I would do it myself. See, that's the whole point. If I knew exactly what is to be done and how it has to be done, I would probably do it myself because it is so clear. Everything is so clear, and it's probably even quicker if I do it myself because a student anyway has less experience. And students, even if I tell them the sequence of things to be done, they'll probably either be slow or make mistakes, which I can avoid. But the whole purpose of the whole point of research is most of the time the guide does not know anything. Means or like the guide himself or herself does not. They just want to maybe know. They probably know the goal. They want to. They know where they want to reach. They don't know what steps have to be taken to reach that goal. That's why it's called research. So research means you don't know how to get there. You know that there's some ideal, some lofty, desirable goal. That's all you know. You don't know how to get there. So that's where a genuine student of physics or student of science will use his or her own creativity and initiative to come up with alternative approaches to that goal, not just sit on top of the guide's shoulders and just go along for the ride, because that is of no use. So that will be a burden to the guide. So if my students sits on top of my shoulders, not only I have to run towards the destination, I have to carry that person, which is a big load. So if I knew how to run to the destination, I don't need the student, I will run myself. So the whole purpose of having PhD student is I want them to go in a slightly different path, maybe find a shortcut or something, find a more path which is better lit. See, it's more, it's cleaner, whatever. So basically, that's the whole idea of collaboration. There has to be two different perspectives, and you select whatever is best. And as a student of physics, I feel that you should be that type of student. Use your own creativity, your initiative to, complement your guide's efforts. Don't duplicate your guide's efforts. Try to complement. Means be different, but you both are trying to achieve the same goal, but you're doing it slightly differently. That is extremely valuable. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's all I
Thank
want
you
to
very
say.
much. Yeah,
Sure.
thank you very much, sir. It was very like fruitful advice. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Any other question? So anybody else has a question? I'm using my mobile right now for my session, showing 7%. Probably die very soon. So if you have anything quick to add, ask. Otherwise, I have to go running to look for some charger. I'm somewhere sitting somewhere else.
Thank you, sir.
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, fine.
Sir, bye.
Okay, so if nobody else has a question, we can wind up. Okay, so I think we can wind up, isn't it? Hello?
Yes, sir. You can wind up, sir.
Okay, thanks. I'm disconnecting.